Today on the channel, I'm going to give you some tips on how to get to the next level with your pentatonic scales. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. For today's lesson, I'm going to give you some tips on how to get to the next level with your pentatonic scales. These are some things that I learned many years ago. I still use them to this day, and hopefully whether you're starting out or just trying to reinvigorate what you do with your pentatonic scales, this will give you some help and maybe guide you along the way and get you to the next level that you're looking for. You can also use these tips and tricks for regular scales, major, minor, modes, different things like that. So, but we're going to focus on pentatonics today, just for something fun to do, and since that seems to be one of the most popular things that us guitar players like, right? So I'm going to be in E. We're going to be doing E minor pentatonic, okay? So we're going to be up on the 12th fret. We're going to use the our favorite position, I guess we could say the most common position in pentatonics, which is all right, so just the 5-note pentatonic scale. Now again, you can use these positions and tricks in any position of the scale, and I recommend that you do that because that's when you really elevate and get to the next level of your playing, and it can get really complicated and kind of like math. So, but let's start off with some basics, and we'll go from there. All right. So the one thing I want to start with for the beginners out there is this scale. I alternate pick. I think alternate picking is a very important technique to get under your fingertips. No pun intended. So I start with a downstroke and I go with an upstroke. So every string that I hit, every note is either an up or downstroke, and I never repeat the same stroke. I never go down, down, down. Now that doesn't mean that's the golden rule, but this is a technique that will benefit you later for various things that you're learning. So I'll start like this, and I'll down pick and up pick. Now if that seems unusual at first, that's normal. You just have to get used to it and practice it slowly. Alternate picking helps you with string transitions when you're string skipping, because if you're on a upstroke on one string and the next, you're going to skip to the next string down, the downstroke is already loaded up and you're ready to pick. Okay? Now, an exercise to do, if you're not familiar with this scale or if you're having trouble with it, would be to alternate pick each note 4 times before you go to the next note. So go. Then go back down. Now what that's doing is that's getting your hands and your brain, everything working together. Getting your left and right hand in sync is very difficult as a guitar player. It can be anyway. So slowly. Then you can go to 2 notes per 2 strokes per note. 1, 2. That's a really good exercise to get your alternate picking mastered, and also to memorize a position of a scale. If you're having a hard time memorizing where your fingers need to go, this will really ingrain that shape into your brain. Okay, so I say, do the whole scale. If you're having trouble, do 2 notes per string. If you're having trouble with that, do 4. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is there's a pattern in this scale, right? So if we're playing, again, we're in this E minor pentatonic shape. So if we go, we're going to go. So what I'm doing there is I'm going to go 12, 12, E to A string, and then go pinky and ring finger on the 12th and the A string. So go right up. And I'm alternate picking, remember. That's kind of difficult to get your mind around. I mean, it can be really challenging to do these things. So once again, I'm going. What makes this difficult is you got to roll. You got to roll your finger. You roll on the way up, and going down it's a little differently. But a lot of guitar players have a hard time with their pinky, and this really works your pinky out a lot. So you get familiar with playing with your pinky, because a lot of people just do, index, middle, and ring finger, and this pinky is very important. So that's alternating. Now, one other position, there's so many patterns you can do. I mean, there's lots and lots of patterns, but these are ones that I really like. You can go up 4 notes, okay, and then start on the 2nd note of the pentatonic scale, then go up 4. Then start on the 3rd note and go up 4, and then so forth. So the whole thing sounds like. Alternate picking the whole way. If you get that down really fast, it's cool. It's fun because if you play, we're going to go off topic just a little bit, but if we're in E minor, you can go. So it works well with scales, so you can do the same concept. Go down 4, start on the next note, go down 4, then start on the next note. And we're just doing basic 8th notes or 16ths or quarters, but you can make melodies with it, like. If you're struggling getting this pattern down, you can do what I just did there. You can take, you can isolate, say for instance, your G and your D strings, and go downstroke. We're going 14, 12, 14, 12 on G and D. Or go. The middle strings are easier than the top 2 and the bottom one, because these require your index finger and your ring finger, and then the A, D, and the G strings are just these 2 fingers, right? Remember, each finger owns a fret, so 12, 13, 14, 15, right? So anytime that you're on one of these frets, it should correspond to that finger. you shouldn't find your other fingers going to a different fret. If they are, then something's wrong. It's not efficient enough, right? Now, sometimes I don't exactly follow that rule, but you want to try, when you're practicing these exercises, you want to kind of stick to that golden rule. Sometimes, depending on the song that you're doing or the lick, it just doesn't, it's easier to do it a different way, right? So there are no rules really in guitar playing. There's just guides and suggestions that make certain things easier. You kind of got to play it by ear. Again, no pun intended. All right, so that's 4 up, 4 down, alternate picking all the way, all right? Now let's get away from alternate picking. Well, actually, there's one more I'm going to show you. There's this thing that it's like a Steve Vai thing that Steve Vai does sometimes. He'll play a scale, or he'll do a riff or a pattern, even pentatonics, but you can speed pick. When you get your alternate pick, one thing about getting your alternate picking down really good is you'll finally figure out what's the right height for the pick. You know, what's the right tension in my arm, and you'll get everything will start to sync as you get better. So you can, go. You can do stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed pick each note of the pentatonic scale. Just all right. So I'm going to go. I'm trying to do it on time. That's a fun exercise, right? And it sounds cool. You can do it with, again, like major scales or minor scales. This minor scale, for instance. Very Van Halen-esque. So I think I learned how to do that, trying to learn how to do all the live without a net stuff, or, some of the Van Halen stuff where Eddie's just like... I love doing the tremolo picking. It's fun. It sounds cool. It's an easy trick, and, it's fun. All right, there's a typical hammer-on lick, right? So you can do hammer-ons. Now, I encourage you to do alternate picking, but then we got to step away from hammer-ons, and we're going to take the same pentatonic shape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the first note, and I'm going to hammer on the second note. A hammer-on is when you just lay the finger on the fret, and it'll sound like that. That was just one pick, but 2 notes. Right, so my whole picking was on the 12th fret. And then on the way down, I'm going to pick my pinky or my ring finger and hammer off, pull off, I should say. Very fluid. It gives you a nice smooth legato feel. When you start working with like a lot of licks, that's where it comes in handy. So it starts off with like that. Very simple, right? And then to get more advanced with that, or if you want to just isolate it to 2 strings, again, you can be on the D and the G string, like that, hammer on, and just repeat. You can go to the A and the D. You can go A, D, G. Then you go. I just added the B string. the top two. Now I'm going to use my ring finger, and I'm going to break my rule from earlier. I can go with my pinky, but I like going. The reason I'm breaking my rule where every finger owns its own fret is because a lot of times I'll go. I'm ready to bend that note up, which I need my ring finger to do that, or that note. Now you can do the same thing going down. What I'm doing is pulling off on the G string, then the D. We're gonna go. There's just two picks in this whole thing. It's kind of fun. Or the whole scale. Now, if you combine that with some of the other techniques we just talked about and start adding all those different things in your solos, it's really cool. That gives you, a little bit different flavors and flair, and a little bit, variety in your leads. You just don't want to overdo it, because if you start overdoing it, it's going to sound like it's a pattern, that's what it is. And trying to turn these into music where it doesn't sound so robotic, but it's going to sound clinical at first. And there's space in the musical world and realm out there for that type of music, and there's nothing wrong with that. My early demos and even some of my current recordings from most recently even sound kind of clinical sometimes. I'm like, man, that just sounds like a pattern. But it is what it is, right? We're here just to have fun, right? All right, so let's talk about, we just did hammer-ons. Now this kind of brings me into the realm of there's some cliche licks that we all love, that employ that same technique that we just talked about. For instance, there's this lick. So what that is I'm using this blue note. Instead of going, I'm on the 15th fret on the G string. So I'm hammering on the B string and pulling off like a trill. And I'm going to pick the 15th fret. You can go 14th fret to, if we're sticking with the 5-note pentatonic. I like the one I first showed you because you can just use your index finger and your ring finger. So we're going to down pick, hammer on, pull off, down pick the 15th fret on the G. The rest of it's up pick, down pick. You can switch it up to the E and the B string too. And then bend up. You can go on any string and do that. It starts on the low note, hammer on and pull off, and then play the next note down. Cool. All right. Kind of going out of tune a little bit. All right. So the next thing I want to do is talk about going up, doing this hammer-on thing, and put a bend at the end of it. We're gonna, instead of ending on the 12th fret on the high E, we're gonna bend up on the 15th fret and put some vibrato. So go. So we're just gonna hammer on, pick, hammer on, pick, hammer on. And then at the end of that, you can start in the middle and go to the high E string. When you're up on this 15th fret, go. So that vibrato at the end of it makes the sound of the note sound more in pitch, because you got to be careful to bend it exactly one step up. So if we're on the 15th fret on the B string, we're going to make it sound like the 17th fret or the 12th fret. On the high E, that's an E. But when you put that vibrato on it, it makes it sound, you know, on pitch, which is very important. You don't want your notes to sound flat or sharp. And then go. Just something that I want to show you. All right, so the last one, this lesson's going on really long. I've given you like a ton of stuff. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know. I'll do more. It's just kind of an experimental video lesson here. There's this Eric Johnson lick. All right, this is probably the hardest thing that I ever had to learn with pentatonics. And what he does is 5/4. So 1, 2, 3. That's so fun. So what we're doing is we're going down 5, starting on the 15th fret on the high E. We go down 5. Then we're going to start on the 15th fret on the B. Go down 5. Then we're going to be on the 14th fret on the G. Go down 5. The next string on the 14th fret on the D. Go down 5. So you go all the way down. The only way that I figured out how to do this would be to, I always start with a downstroke, but you really should start with an upstroke. So it's a pull off, and then a pull off, and then a pick. So it's a 5-note run, but there's only 3 picks. It's the first note on each string. And then we're going to go to the next string, then the next string. It's so weird. That last one, that pinky. So feeling 4, but doing 5 is the tough part. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and Eric does that in different positions, which is absolutely insane, right? Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Those are several tips and tricks with the pentatonic scale. You can use these in many different positions, many different types of scales, not just the pentatonics. These are fundamentals that my teacher many years ago, I started when I was 15, and I've used these for decades. I've worked on these for many, many years. Sometimes I get away from certain things and they get harder and more difficult. I'm like, oh, I gotta work on those. So don't feel bad if you get really good at something, then you get a little bit rusty on it, then go back and visit it. But always push yourself and try to explore new ways to do patterns and positions, and use these concepts and ideas to come up with some of your own patterns and positions. You'll find yourself breaking new ground and finding new ways to play things, and that's what really is inspiring. This stuff is really just a launching pad to get your playing and technique up to another level, and to elevate your creativity and your playing, and you'll see it advance and improve in many different ways, and you'll have fun. So it is frustrating. Don't give up. Practice slowly. If you can, practice with a metronome. That always helps. And until next time, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, comment below, and as always, have a great day. Peace out.